Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Mystic Racing League and its Octane Outlaws Cup Series. Tonight, the playoffs continue with the quest to try and advance to the championship. It's the Tier 1 Setup Shop 250 and it's here on V-Speed from what should be a busy night from Kansas City. I'm Justin Prince alongside the booth for tonight. Scott Shive, our producer this evening is Morgan Cook, using cameras provided by Dougie Beer. Tonight, these drivers are in a busy quest in the battle for the round of 8. It's Kansas that's going to be the showcase tonight, and drivers are ready to see how they fare out at one of the cookie-cutter mile-and-a-half circuits, Scott.
Well, love Kansas Speedway, one of my absolute favorites, and it's one that always puts on great races. I love Kansas. This 1.5 mile oval with 17-degree turns in the corners, and as well as, of course, it's a 4-corner regular straight old tri-oval, but we are in the first race of the round of 8. And it's really getting down to the nitty-gritty. These drivers have been fighting all season long, and it has been an extremely long season here in the Octane Outlaw Cup Series. But Evan Janik up atop the boards, and Andrew Allen right up there in second. But there's drivers as well, who Christian Barnes, one of the fastest in practice and fastest in qualifying at the moment, just below the cut line. Drivers like Isaac Wilson and Rayshon Wakefield just performing enough to be above that cut line. But I wouldn't feel comfortable at all 4 and 2 points to the good.
That shows the importance of playoff points coming into the round of 8, just to say the very least here tonight. Drivers with long shots, Adam Holston, who's been ice cold for a few months now, John Ullman and Joshua Gillen, those drivers having 0 and 1 playoff point total, respectively, in 2025. Mind you, these drivers will have an interesting round with Kansas, Talladega, and then Martinsville to determine who moves on to battle for a championship at Homestead Miami Speedway. That will be on October the 10th for that championship. But these competitors getting ready to see how things play out tonight in general. These drivers have about 167 laps or so to be able to sort themselves out. The thing is, though, Perfast Living and their respective team drivers, they expect fuel to not make it to the length of the stages, Scott. It is within 2 laps on the scheduled distance per what they had noted for tonight for the fuel mileage.
Well, and the race could go truly any way. It always normally does. We could see really clean and green stages all throughout those front 2 stages. Of course, in the final stage, you'll guaranteed have to make a pit stop, but you've got to wonder, even though it may be about 3 laps of fuel, maybe you wonder, if you're a driver that's below that cut line, even though it's the first round, maybe you try in stage 1, maybe you try to make it, maybe if you realize you can't pit towards the end of the stage rather than splitting it right down the middle to get those fresh, Goodyear tires. But I don't know. It's going to be a little bit difficult for drivers to make that decision with it being the first round of this round of 8. I could definitely see them taking that if it was race 2 or if it was a cutoff race in the third race of the round of 8. It's going to be a little bit difficult tonight as we get our starting grid.
On the pole tonight, Caleb Hunt takes it away from Christian Barnes in the end for the session. Their difference, just under 9 1/1000ths of a second. Gavin Henson, a part-time runner with a win this season, start alongside Joey Bean in row 2. Row 3, Joshua Gillen's 10 car, Rayshon Wakefield, starts up in the 6th position. Adam Holston starts in row 4. Andrew Allen is next to him. They're separated by about a third of a tenth. Rounding your top 10, Isaac Brock and Jackson Hatawa, who had speed in the truck race earlier on this week.
18 of Joe Medina in 11th in the 6th row, as well as Michael Cole in the number 48. Back further along is that 71 of Evan Janik up atop the points in the playoff standings, but starting a little bit deeper in the field, as well as Isaac Wilson, 2 of your most dominant competitors all season long. Then starting 15th, it is John Ullman in the 34 with Casey Bristow to the outside. And the 82 of Jared Knopsnyder and Zach White sit in row number 9. Zach White in his number 77. Rounding out the top 20, 19th and 20th, the 95 of Justin Miller. and the 47 of David Moyer.
Then last two on the starting grid, Stephen Gill, and then one of the newcomers just making their truck debut this week, Keith Dwindle. He's a part of Fast Living Motorsports. In terms of team alignment, that's what top to bottom at your running order here tonight from Kansas. 2 EOL penalties tonight. One goes to 23, Rayshawn Winkfield. The other to Casey Bristow for being late to the driver's meeting. Casey Bristow is out of the session, so that's why the 23 right now is way up against the wall. Going to put some extra challenge for the 23's chances early here at Kansas. But what are your keys to win here tonight? What are the keys to do well here at Kansas? Scott, as we look at your race analysis one more time.
Well, 167 laps. Again, it's going to be a long race, up over 200 miles for sure. Obviously, you want to be careful on pit road. The key is stay with it. Maybe try to save some fuel here and there, but you really, track position, I think, is going to be very important. We've seen it be important in this next gen with the way these drivers are able to manipulate the air around each other. I think you're going to want track position, maybe over tires over a 20, 30 lap run. Once you get past that, it might get to where you're making that case. But again, I think fuel will be more important than tires, and those drivers will want to be keeping track position here at Kansas all night long, Justin.
Still about 3/4 of a pace lap to go before we get to your start zone tonight. Who do you think's got the best shot to be able to punch their ticket into the championship for tonight with a win?
Honestly, you can't overlook some of those guys like Evan Janik and Isaac Wilson, but I've really got my eyes on Christian Barnes. Really has made a hot leap here towards this run up towards the playoffs. Was quite consistent through the regular season, but just couldn't quite get that grip that he needed in the playoff and the regular season standings and as well on the racetrack. But Christian Barnes, fastest in practice, qualified outside of the front row. I think Christian Barnes has one of the best shots.
New Hampshire and Bristol is where he broke through, keep in mind, for some victories this campaign. Now, I'll start on the outside of the front row with one of the Tier 1 cars. Ready to control things, Caleb Hunt. Happy to be with us for tonight's coverage of the Mystic Racing League and the Octane Outlaws Cup Series. Caleb Hunt leads them down. Green flag is out. We're underway from Kansas City. Jets battling down the front straightaway as Caleb Hunt holds on, and we have a big crash. Heart of the field, around goes Zach White. Destroyed fenders already on Isaac Wilson's car. Michael Cole, the runway around. Caution at the flag stand.
Saw that one accumulate right before the start-finish line. I couldn't tell who it's all started with, but we know the championship contender Isaac Wilson in the 93 got a piece of it. Rayshawn Winkfield, maybe might have skated through that, but let's take a look back here. I want to say we're looking around the 71 of Evan Janik, around the 18 as well. It looks like, oh, who was that car that bounced off the wall? It was Michael Cole, and that's where it all started.
Chaos reigns supreme as a result. Jose Medina already down pit road. On board, this is the 48 here with your Black Diamond Science replay.
See Michael Cole enter here into 3. Drivers already spreading out here. Jackson Hautala right in front in the 09. And up top goes the 48 of Cole. It just drifts up a little high. And you know about this next gen. Once you get in it and start to lose it, it's really hard to regain control. And you saw giving him that tag to other drivers like Zach White in the 77, and eventually that got into the 93 of Wilson.
Since one more time at speed for Jose Medina, tag towards the end of the incident here. Medina had been running 3 wide, trying to battle it out with Janik. Looks to be okay, not okay. At the last moment, significant damage as a result here.
I want to know where this tag for Isaac Wilson comes in. I haven't quite seen the moment where he finds that damage, but he did get some significant damage in that. He's in the pit lane right now, already going one lap down. But from a driver, and this is why qualifying is important, Justin. You never know when incidents like this can happen. Those cold tires, you saw it from Cole driving out of 4, just got tight, and the tires were not giving him the grip he needed. I mean, they were giving him more grip actually in the fronts. Just could not quite turn the car down the racetrack. And so this is why qualifying is really important for drivers like Christian Barnes and Joey Beam, Andrew Allen, because they were able to stay out of this, and drivers behind them were 2 and 3 wide.
Absolutely. And so we'll get the chance to reset. This will help with the fuel mileage numbers, by the way, probably for the stage. You have to give them that thought of the process. Should be able to make it from here.
Well, and that's one of those things as a driver, bam, that decision is out the window. Now I can go as hard as I want to. It doesn't matter. That's honestly Christian Barnes, drivers like Gavin Henson, Joshua Gillen, as well as Joey Beam, Andrew Allen, top 5. They are all happy about, they're not happy about the incident or the caution, but they're happy that they know they can go ahead and race this all the way out to stage 1 to pay out those points. It could be a different look in stage 2. Again, we never know if it could run all the way green, but this is stage 1, and their minds are now, I can run as hard as I want.
Drivers roll through the shoes. Barnes amongst those shoes in the bottom of the racetrack. This is a racetrack where the top line can be very prominent, though, as runs go on here, Scott. It's going to get interesting where these lane choices go and when it comes to the tire wear tonight also.
Well, I'll give you a look at it. Joey Beam started 4th, got up to 2nd just in that one lap before the caution, and he was up on the high line all the way throughout the entire first lap, up in 1 and 2, as well in 3 and 4, and he was able to gain position. You want to be careful with that, though, Justin, because it is going to be easier to burn your stuff up, especially your right sides, running that high line. You're just going to push the car more. The car wants to rotate. You're carrying more speed, and you're going to be able to grind off those right side tires. So Joey Beam, don't expect drivers to run up there every lap, especially towards the beginning of these runs, but definitely look towards drivers, maybe if they can't get the pass done on the bottom, to maybe try to do it around the top once or twice.
Coming up to the restart zone here. Green flag's back out, back it away, and the outside doesn't go. Beam will lose a ton of ground. Andrew Allen trying to bump him out of the way.
Not a stellar start for Beam at all. Joshua Gillen able to get to the inside in the number 10. Andrew Allen going to look low as well, as we've got a 3-way fight right behind them, and Evan Janik is right behind this. They've now settled it out all for 2 wide at the moment, but this is about 8 cars under a blanket. Andrew Allen looking to the back bumper at Gillen.
Gillen indeed trying to line things up right now. All this as well. Gavin Henson providing pressure for the race lead. So far, majority of the field here running bottom, try to save a little bit of tire. Or in the case of Henson, try to use the middle to gain some speed here. That middle to top line gets so much pull for the back straightaway because you're going to ramp off the corner.
Look who's up at that top line. It's the 71 of Janik. He's using it early just like Joey Beam did on that opening of the first lap. Janik's going to get the wall hard.
Oh, that's going to hurt him a little bit. Doesn't look like he's too scuffed up. Right now looking okay for the time being as they run the bottom. Majority of the field not willing to move up quite yet, interestingly enough here. A lot of dirty air you have to think about and consider here with some of these updates as of late on the service here, Scott. So it's not an easy track to be able to try and work in if you're in the middle of a pack per se.
Oh, look at this. Joey Beam really slow in front of these 3 cars. Adam Holston, the 10 of Gillen, as well as that 71 of Janik. And Joey Beam's going to fall back, uses the high line to try to gain back some of that momentum. It was about almost 3 wide there between Gillen, Holston, and Joey Beam. And look who's right behind it. It is that 71 of Janik, already gaining a ton of ground, up 7 spots in these first 9 laps.
Henson's grabbed the lead meanwhile as we were looking away. So the 39 able to use the high line to be able to make some moves. Able to now power his way forward. We've seen Henson be fast at these types of tracks before during his part-time schedule this season in the 39. He's made it clear he wants to try and win some more races here in this series, Scott.
Well, he's got a long way to go, 157 laps remaining to be able to get it done as we're seeing this battle throughout the mid-pack. Another thing of note, right behind these three drivers battling out for 13th, 14th, and 15th is the 78 of Caleb Hunt, who started on pole.
Yeah, here it was a pit for fuel only in that regard. And that is just showing how concerned some of the drivers might be in the fuel mileage here, just willing to sacrifice track position to make sure you're good to go to make the rest of the distance as some of the yards battle up front.
Well, and we can watch and keep an eye on that 78 of Caleb Hunt to see if it's going to pay out for him in the end of the run. But right now, looking along with the 23 of Rayshon Winkfield, made his way, I say up to 8th, but he's actually down, started in 6th spot in the number 23 Busch Light Apple machine. Other drivers around, Joey Beam also falling back, Andrew Allen falling back a little bit as well.
Yeah, not bad so far from the 23. Shouldn't be surprised really with the speed we've seen all season from Rayshon. The thing is, can he get himself some stage points, build himself a buffer in these playoffs now in this round? Because as we talked about, he's been focusing on race wins rather than stage wins. He's only got the 3 all season when it comes to stage wins in 2025.
Yeah, it's something you absolutely have to think about, especially when you're a driver. Last one in, only 2 points to the good. And the round of 8 is where I mean, every point matters all season long, but the deeper we get into these playoffs, the closer we get towards the championship forward, awarding, crowning a champion, more important those points become because you have less and less competitors that can have mistakes, and you have to capitalize on every single moment. And stage wins are a privilege, and they are what can transfer someone in unless compared to a driver that didn't win it.
Just maintaining speed right now above 189 at the flag stand, miles per hour wise. See all the deltas as they roll along, keeping it in 5th gear around this racetrack. By the way, the lead has stayed within 2-3 tenths for those curious on the racetrack. But Evan Janik is also amongst those on the move, up to 4th. So the 71 after the wall hit, not being really slowed down as he continues to pick off spot after spot in the 5-star car.
When right now we're seeing drivers able to use their tires as much as they want, go wherever they want, but that's gonna the select few or the many that can do that now will become a select few as we go forward in this run, because drivers can, you can run wherever you want. It just depends on how hard you run, because later you might have to sacrifice some of that track position. You might not be able to hold it depending on how your tires look later. So we see drivers continuing to run different lines here. The 09 of Jackson Hautala trying to work his way continually forward, up 4 spots from the start of the race as he tags the wall a little bit on the entry to 3. But again, we've seen the dominance of this upper groove, and it's really working down here on the straightaways as Hautala trying to go around the outside of Holston.
Tala trying to use the high line. He said when asking him some quick questions earlier, trying to get the field numbers, that he was very confident on the high side. Scraped the wall there. He felt very fast up there with what he was able to do, especially felt stable with the car also. See him just willing to move around, search for clean air as the leaders are about to reach lap traffic and get some dirty air.
Well, that fairly quick 4-lap traffic for the 39 of Gavin Henson, but he's dealt with it before. But look, look, these leaders, Gavin Henson is not very far out from some of the rest of this field. What is it? With Rayshon Winkfield, 1st through 7th, all within a 1.5 seconds of each other. So these leaders really aren't spreading out. And if you look from Janik to Holston, who's now fallen back to 7th, that's just 4/10 of a second between 3rd and 7th.
Yeah, the field is staying pretty tight together here. No one's really running away yet. Expect things to separate a little bit once we get to the long runs where we might get a 2-stop 3rd stage alone. But right now, Field's trying to keep close from at least the mid pack. The front two, obviously the different stories so far, as we're about halfway through the stage this upcoming time by. We'll say Winkfield's up in the top 5. Oh wow, Adam Holston's trying to get 6th back.
Yeah, this fight between them continues to rage on. Adam Holston got some good position there after some drivers pitted on that first caution, but Holston really wasn't quite able to hold it, then settling in this about 6th, 7th position through the running of this first stage. And again, we haven't had a lot of laps complete at this moment. Holston trying to not fall back and fall down to the number 10 of Joshua Gillen. Gillen, speaking of him, he's fallen back a little bit as well.
A bit of a wall scrape, in fact, for the lap traffic. That's going to cause them to move off the line. David Moyer is that driver having some issues there. And that's the scary thing, is if you have someone have lap traffic making mistakes out of turn 4, that wall just grabs you out of the corner.
Well, and same thing as well, when you're following a driver very closely, it can almost blind you. You just kind of have to follow them and hope that they know where they're going. As Rayshon Winkfield makes another pass, Winkfield up into 4th, but Hautala trying to stick the nose on the outside. He will have the outside line here into turn 1, and Hautala's been pretty good on that top side. Tries to power up here off of turn number 2, but not going to be enough. Winkfield, very good, very fast down on that bottom line.
Yeah, he's been comfortable in 1 and 2 on the bottom, trying to build the speed down the front straight away. Remember some of the olden days, so to speak, of a couple years ago. You just were able to use the high line to defend or try and cut along to make passes. Tonight, you have to have that flexibility, it seems, a little bit, where you have to be comfortable in the bottom and the top here, Scott. We're seeing these drivers try and manipulate that air so much.
Well, it's really become that way with this next-gen car. Drivers having to go where their competitors in front are not. You just have to find a way to make it work. And I think some drivers, as we see a big hit there, I believe that was Andrew Allen in the number 96. Yes, it was. So that's another one of those moments that we've seen many drivers get into the wall off of turn 4, as we see another driver, I think it's a 47, yep, it's David Moyer, who's already lapped down. We saw him get into the wall earlier when leaders were passing him. But back to that point, talking about the difference in lines, you're forced to go where your competitors are not because of that dirty air and the way these tires roll and the way the hot air, dirty air works. It's just, you've got to find another way. And Rayshon Winkfield is loving the bottom right now.
Yeah, he is now still making his way forward, trying to make it roll still within 1 second of the race leader now. Hinson started to break away from Barnes, but Winkfield is faster than them all right now. Run the middle. And this is the important thing. Patience is a bit of a key here. If you want to make some of these passes here tonight, we're seeing that patience pay off for the driver who started at the back from the drivers' meeting. Oh, look at this, though. Seen that, too. A bit of a wall scrape. Evan Janik trying to make some moves here, trying to take away second.
Look at this. It is real close here, 2nd through 4th. Rayshon Winkfield is on the charge, and same with the 71 of Janik, and Christian Barnes has to find a way to defend. And that pink bumper is the 39 of Henson, the current leader. Right here, these three are close together, but now this might be to the advantage of Christian Barnes, that Winkfield and Janik might go at it.
Right now, Janik trying to play the bottom of the racetrack. Winkfield preferring his middle groove around this circuit. Still playing the lane game as they come around. 12 laps to go, coming up here in the stage. Right now, you can see traffic still forces the lane change from Barnes. Oh, lap traffic just showed up next to Winkfield. That's a bit of a scare.
Oh, whoa, that is the 95 of Justin Miller. That is a scare. That even scared me off my screen. That is probably the worst place a lap car could blink back in on the exit of the corner. Probably better that it was turn 2 rather than turn 4, where we've seen most of our incidents like that of the 21 of Isaac Brock. But battles continue to rage on all throughout this field. Jackson Haltala and the 8 of Adam Holston. They go at Holston. I just said he was dropping back. Well, now he's in the top 5.
Right now, just trying to hold on to stage points. That's the critical thing, though. He needs points, and this is the tough thing. He's going to have to execute, Scott, where for the most part, he's been outside the stage points. Hatawa makes the pass.
Well, and you spoke to me earlier about it since I've been away, that Holston really has not had that performance that he did at the opening of the season. Just not as strong in this past summer stretch. And Holston still trying to find a way back to victory lane, back to some more consistent finishes for that number 8 machine. Again, it's still possible for him to get back that victory lane, but again, he's 9 points down to the cut line. It's still possible for him to even win the championship, but this round of 8, he is going to have to find that spark that ignited the start of his season.
Started well with the super speedways, did well in some of the speedways then. Now it's kind of just sizzled out. And right now it's having a hard time being able to get back in position. Wingfield, by the way, has made the pass on Janik and is already going to work on Christian Barnes. Under 10 laps to go on the stage, and depending on how fast he gets around the 27 here, he might have a shot at trying to get the stage win.
Well, and we mentioned how important it was for Wingfield to be going for those possible stage wins, as well as Barnes. Barnes has been doing really well so far, but again, he's 2 points down, so these are 2 drivers in the top 3 that really need this stage win. All the while, a driver leading is one who doesn't need a stage win. He's just racing part-time. He's only coming out to win. So you really, if you're Christian Barnes or Rayshon Wingfield here, you need these points.
You absolutely do. And you see them battling to the middle of the racetrack back there as lap traffic is in between them and the leader. Wingfield now forced to use the bottom of the racetrack rather than his preferred middle groove with the dirty air. 6 to go in the stage. Wingfield looking for a place to poke.
Barnes doing an excellent job playing defense right here. Wingfield having to change it up. You saw enter the middle there, let the car turn down low to try to carry some extra speed here down the back straightaway. Really isn't working, losing a little bit of time on Christian Barnes, but sends it into 3 right there. Cuts the gap down to 1.5, or excuse me, 1.5 tenths. Gaining here on the front straightaway, so definitely a better 3 and 4 than he was at 1 and 2. So Barnes has got to find a way to hold him up in 3 and 4, the same he is here in 1 and 2.
Yeah, just can't seem to find a way to get alongside. Janik has also sailed back.
Caution.
Caution! Joey Beam. 41 is around, and this might set up a quick dash for the stage, may not. Let's take a look at your replay brought to you by Black Diamond Designs.
See the 21 here of Isaac Brock. Oh yeah, Joey Beam's going to get the wall here, but it might happen down into 1 and 2. 41 of Joey Beam. Yeah, looked like, I couldn't tell from that angle if Joey Beam came down or the 21 of Brock came up, but that is a heavy impact with the right front in the wall for the 41 of Joey Beam.
Let's take a look at this again. You can see Brock was already trying to send it in the first place. But right here, Beam has contact there after slow up. And according to lane game, Brock.
Oh, yeah. And see, that's such a difficult situation for Brock because if you're Brock, you're thinking the 41 is going up towards the wall or is going to be on the wall. So you obviously want to get the best arc into turn 1 that you can if you're the car on the bottom. And so Brock imagined most likely that the 41 would be up towards the wall. And when the 41 didn't keep going to the wall, 21 had no idea and it was too late.
Vast majority of the field electing not to give up the track position here with the caution period. So everybody trying to make sure they score some points. Some of the people in the back do come on down for pit stops. So at the moment, it's looking like a quick dash. Gavin Henson really wants to maintain control of this race with this choice here, obviously. And he's led already 29.
Well, and it's not a bad call. If I was Gavin Henson, again, not in the points game at all, I would think maybe about flipping this stage and possibly letting all those drivers that are going to go before you and let them end up behind you, because they're obviously Christian Barnes and them, they're going to stay out for stage points. I'm surprised Gavin didn't possibly come down in to maybe flip the stage, but other drivers did. Michael Cole going to be the first car, or the furthest car as of this moment. They did choose to flip the stage. He's back in 14th at the moment, but these drivers will ride around under pace conditions to make sure they complete this stage. But again, I'm surprised by the call of the 39 to stay out.
We'll see the choose coming up here, believe, as well, by the way. We'll see where the laps really get sorted out here once we get to the pace lights. Keep an eye on the pace car here. This is going to be very quick here, likely. Lights do not turn off. So at the moment, it's looking like this may very well close out at 40 for the end of the stage here.
Well, and if that's the case, we got to have one lap before these drivers come into the pit lane, as well as a couple extra pace laps. And it's making me wonder now, with these stage cautions and the laps run under caution, is there going to be enough ran under caution at the beginning of stage 2 for them to possibly be able to make it fully under green as well?
So many questions here, absolutely, at this point. Just waiting for confirmation from race control on the game plan here. As a result, and obvious, just got confirmation that stage end is confirmed. So this is why everyone's staying out. This is the stage to confirm. So give it to Gavin Henson for stage 1.
Gets the lead early, leads 30 laps. Some of those under caution, some of those under green, mostly under green. But Gavin Henson has come to compete, and he's not come to just play around.
An interesting night so far with a couple lead changes, a couple caution flags. So it'll be basically as follows here. Henson, Barnes, Wingfield, Janik, Hatala, who will all get stage points here tonight for stage number 1. We'll say fuel mileage shouldn't be as tight in stage 2, Scott.
Yeah, I think so. We'll have a couple laps here, some for them to pit, as well as just some other extra pace laps for lap cars to get around, wave arounds, lucky dogs, as well as things of that nature. And so I think you're going to be less pressed for fuel mileage and fuel saving in this second stage, but it is still very much possible. I mean, we saw earlier some drivers bring it down, like the 78 of Caleb Hunt, who was concerned about that fuel. And by the way, Caleb Hunt finished outside the top 10 in this stage in 12th.
Interesting to say the least. Now as we continue on, now should see these drivers officially take that green white checker flag right here, and then we can open that pit window. Has there been any surprises to what you've seen here tonight so far? What would you say about the action so far?
I'm surprised at the dependability of all of the lanes. You don't just have to run the bottom or the middle. And really, obviously, I don't know the tire wear on some of these drivers, but the running the top as consistently as some drivers did, I'm surprised that the tire wear didn't really affect them as much as I thought it would have. Obviously, iRacing continuing to update the tire models, these racetracks. Obviously, we just had the big update a couple weeks ago. And so I guess I expected the tires to wear more running that high line, but some drivers like the 71 and the 23 that were running those higher lines and Jackson Altala, well, they all finished in the top 5.
Absolutely interesting night here at the point here. So as we get set and sorted out here for stage number 2, see if everyone's able to execute on pit road. So they'll roll on down. I'd like to give a shout out once again to staff here at V-Speed for being able to cover tonight's action. Usually this action on the Precision Production Network, but certain circumstances came into play, and V-Speed was able to step up. Give a shout out once again to Morgan Cook and the V-Speed crew for broadcasting tonight's action here for Mystic Racing League. But here's pit road now becoming active. Let's see the stops as they peel on down.
Love this shot by Dougie Beard. I love the off-camber shot. Makes it feel, I mean, I feel like we're racing under the lights. We're racing for something here because we are racing for something. A round of 8, opening of that round, and it's truly coming down to the wire for these drivers. A lot of them taking 2 tires, most taking 4, and take their time for fuel. It looks like we might have some 2-tire calls. Looks like maybe possibly Christian Barnes, Rayshawn Wingfield, not a Jackson Altala, but we're going to be told they are taking 4, so it might have just been.
Oh boy, someone just spun.
Oh, that is the 95 of Justin Miller.
And that is a bit of a rookie mistake there. That was something common when the cars first came into play here on the service. Don't expect that to happen every day.
You shouldn't expect it to happen every day. I was surprised. Who was up at the front there that had the slow stop? Maybe I'm tricking myself out because I think that was Caleb Hunt that was in the front box. Oh, yes, it was because he was on pole and he was in 12th. So it makes sense that he didn't get out when all the rest of those did. For some reason, Justin, I thought it was Evan Janik, but Janik got out in 4th.
So the field now will reset once again, and now see them choosing this time. Remember, they can't be in that middle lane. They have to be on the outer lane or the inner lane. In terms of those seams, and a couple drivers were borderline there on their choices. Somebody at the back definitely was in the middle.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. we talked about that all year long with these drivers making the choice. And that was Isaac Wilson, actually, who was one of those runners towards the end. As Isaac Wilson now, with that caution for the stage end, is now back on the lead lap.
So Wilson's already at the back of the first place. He's already getting sorted back there. It's going to be Barnes, Wingfield amongst the top 2. Then you have Hatawa and Janik going alongside Hinson. In the first 6 positions, Hunt and Allen are in the top 8. Again, racing to lap 80 here this time through. But they keep it clean. Let's find out. All set to get back underway for tonight's coverage of the Tier 1 Setup Shop 250. Green flag is out. We're back underway at Kansas. Clean start for the field as Barnes wraps the bottom. Hatawa already jumping a second. We'll see where the speed now lies for the 09 machine as he tries to go for the lead.
Altala down to the bottom. Great run here. Might draw side by side with Christian Barnes off of 4. Barnes going to have the run off the high line. But still, Altala able to run it all the way down to the apron. Maybe might draw alongside. Sends it deep here into turn number 1. Altala is looking for the lead. He looks to rival with Christian Barnes.
Still looking to search around here for the opportunity. What's going to happen with these moves is the question. Hatawa hasn't been able to clear yet. Barnes using the outside for defense. Janik running the bottom, mind you, in the 3rd spot, trying to save the tires. Wingfield already to 4. See him just giving out a little bit of an arc, Janik is right now, to try and get some extra speed for the corner.
Altala painting that solid white line down on the bottom. in each corner, and he's getting a better run. Christian Barnes does not have it on the high line. Hautala will slide up. Will Christian Barnes slide the crossover here? He looks to the inside. Hautala will leave it open, but at the stripe, Hautala to the lead in the 09. Barnes back to the inside and one.
Barnes tries the slider. This is a close squeeze. No. Once again, Barnes able to get the pull down the straightaway, though Hautala gives it back to him. And that was a choice with that move.
I don't know why Hautala left it open for Christian Barnes on the front straightaway as Barnes scrapes the wall. Many other drivers do as well. That's that effect we talk about when you're so close to other drivers and following them in line. You might scrape the wall. Rayshawn Wingfield looking for third. He'll grab third into one.
See right now, Gillen going the wrong way, though. That 10 machine needs to find some rhythm and fast. Gavin Henson, he was fast early on in stage 1. He's now going the wrong direction. The 39 just cannot seem to get his footing back with the track position.
These cars can act so different in dirty air behind in the pack rather than up front. Henson, for most of the day, experienced that clean air. Now he's going to have to find how that car drives in the pack. As you saw, Gillen tried to power up there on the high side, but it was blocked by the 39 of Henson. So Henson will gain one spot back as Gillen continues to fall. And like you mentioned, Justin, Gillen needs points today, the furthest back of the championship contenders, 21 points out.
He needs points badly. He needs an upset win badly for the championship to shock the whole series. It's been a difficult time. Talladega might be that opportunity. John Ullman absolutely needs to figure something speed-wise here. He's amongst the drivers at the back of the pack and is not doing well right now tonight.
John Ullman qualified 15th, so running better than where he qualified here in 11th. But again, that's not going to be good enough. Ullman is far back in the championship points as well in this round of 8. So Ullman has to find some speed to work on this race car and work his way up through traffic. Here's another driver on track in the 96, Andrew Allen, who was up running in the top 6 early on, but has fallen back as well. He's trying to hold on to a top 10 spot. Look at that. Look at Isaac Wilson. He's working forward.
Yeah, and remember, Isaac Wilson got demolished in the first caution of the race. Already has had to essentially use the faster pair. And now it's just trying to maintain a pattern. That 93 machine looking to keep it clean the rest of the way. There's got to be that extra pressure to try and do this the right way without getting caught up in any messes. As you see, Wingfield trying to make a move forward second.
Well, and I think it was a strategic play for the 93 of Isaac Wilson to go those laps down earlier because it looks like he has all of his damage fixed. He's obviously running really fast, gaining speed, gaining positions. So I would imagine he got all of his repairs done as he fights here with the 34 of John Ullman. This is the battle for 11th. Ullman held onto it for a moment, but he's going to lose it to Wilson, who uses that high speed on the high line.
The red, white, and blue 93 just continues to fall along in the pack. Up front, Hinton now is starting to make up some ground. Able to move up to the top 5.
He gets around Holston, but he's got a big gap back to the 71 of Janik, and there has been another pass up in the top 3. It's been Rayshawn Wingfield who passes the 09 of Hautala into second and is gaining ground on the 27 of Christian Barnes. Little bit by little bit, that gap has come down 0.2 of a second over the past 3 laps.
This is kind of the pattern we've seen break out earlier on when it came to Wingfield's speed. He was able to knock down pace lap by lap, especially compared to Barnes. There's a good chance Wingfield can try and make a move here by stage end. Here's the difference of the battle for the lead battle box. Under 4/10. Last time by 6/1000 of a second quicker. Not a lot, but that's with Wingfield changing his line and getting good exits off the corner.
And Wingfield has time. He's got 24 laps. He's not far at all from Barnes. There's no need to make a rush and make mistakes. Wingfield, I think, one of the most drivers in the field to make the least mistakes throughout this season, but this 23 has to continue to be consistent and be secure in these races, and that takes a lot of patience, especially in these cup cars. The minute you overstep, you could lose 4/10 is just as easy as you gained it.
Yep. Remember, it's a little bit borderline on the fuel here too. With the way this stage started, there is a chance for them to make it on the gas with those who run the bottom. Remember, the short distance, going to be more fuel mileage in theory with not using as much total miles on the track. Janik, he's looking to retake some positions, looking for third. No dice as he resets on Hatau in the battle with the teal cars.
Well, and talking back about fuel, we went green on lap 47. That leaves 30, wait, let me do my math. Yeah, 37-ish laps to run here under green flag condition for this second stage. And like you can see at the bottom of the screen for the race analysis, a max of 38 laps of fuel, and that is a guesstimate. I mean, we can't for a fact say these drivers can absolutely go 38 laps. They could go at that minimum. They could go 35, and that would be 2 laps short. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe some drivers are letting off a little early and letting the car coast as we see a change for the lead. Barnes tries to crossover. This is exactly what we saw earlier with Hautala. Can he retake the lead here over Wingfield?
Answer is for now, yes. But that's because Wingfield's setting up for the pass back. Crossover to the inside. They were blocking to the middle of the back straightaway earlier in stage 1. This time through, Wingfield able to get the clearance. So the 23 of Wingfield takes over the lead. Now the question is, can he keep it? There's still 21, make it 20 laps to go in the stage. By the way, in the air battle, Janik has moved in front of Hatawa, although the 09 machine is in position to go for some crossovers, doesn't take it.
Yeah, he knows he didn't have that run right there. It would have been too late to try to make a dive. It really wouldn't have panned out well for the 09 into turn number 3 if he did try to shoot to the bottom there, so decided to stay in line, stay up top, use that high line here to gain more momentum down the front straightaway, because Hautala has loved that high line here this evening, but running in line with the 71 right now, that's really going to slow him up. And you can see 71 of Janik just move away.
Yeah, right now, Barnes trying to find a way to respond back to Wingfield at the least, make it a battle for this playoff point. And that's going to help overall, as well as get the stage points in general here. See Wingfield, though, willing to play defensive maneuvers. This has been critical all night long, is being able to defend. Keep in mind, though, these are not the fastest cars on the racetrack. That honor currently goes the way of Gavin Henson, who is running in the 5th position, albeit by a couple 1,000s for now.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough to gain extensively, but look at this. Through the front 6, it's 2 seconds between them. It's a little bit different than what we saw through the first stage at this time. 2 seconds between all of those drivers, and it's 2/10 up front between the battle for the lead as Gavin Henson tries to work back towards the lead where he was earlier.
Yeah, we're seeing right now the move back by Barnes. He's trying to get the pole on the outside. Christian Barnes with a chance to be able to go for the crossover for the back straightaway. Can time up the run? No, he couldn't get it to stick. This is the tough thing. The longer the run, the harder it is to make those crossovers too, Scott. As he's in the wall.
tries to get high. I think he was going to try to set up for a crossover there out of 4. Was trying to set up high to turn down into the corner. Got up into the wall, and as you know about these cars and these next-gen cars, you got to slow down significantly to get back off of that wall. Loses a good chunk of time to the 23 of Wingfield. And I was just about to say what a battle it has been and will be for this 27 and 23, but that battle will have to be put on pause momentarily as 23 of Barnes has fallen back just a little bit.
Absolutely. Right now, Wingfield trying to build up the bumper yet again. It's going to be interesting where things really shape up. Janik, right now, for reference, on the average, is in the ballpark of the top 3. It's not been a definitive type of night where we've seen so many times this season Janik dominate races. Janik's had to work for his track position tonight.
Janik really has been putting the pace down. Janik, as we've seen all season long, has known how to work from the pole and work from the back. He's able to work traffic, able to work in this car and find what he needs all over the racetrack. He's really good at searching for speed and being patient, waiting for other drivers to make mistakes. We're seeing that right now as Janik hunting down Christian Barnes. He's within 0.2 of a second.
Trying to slowly take his time to be able to make some of these moves, coming around to 11 to go on the stage. What do you feel these drivers are going to be feeling in general at this point of the run, especially with what we're seeing for these cars? What is going through their minds as they zip around here?
From what I know about the iRacing Next Gen car, relatively more likely it's going to tighten up rather than get looser over a run. So these drivers are having to back up those corners and really wait on the throttle throughout the center here. And it's really easy to get into the wall. As we see how Tala continue to work up high, he really has to be patient because you have to make sure the car will cut back down so you can stay off that wall. All the while, Gavin Henson, you're going to be tighter on the bottom. A lot of drivers sometimes go up higher to search for some grip for their car to be able to rotate a little easier and let that rear loosen up. So it might be a great run here, a great move for Autala to continue to use that high line, try to loosen himself up. It's not going to be enough, however, to negate the speed of the 39 of Gavin Henson.
Seams might be an option here too. You want to make sure you don't snap on those seams as you cross them. Barnes just about snapped loose on entry of 3 while crossing a stream. He's been able to regroup though. David Moyer, by the way, just entered pit road, so some people, albeit laps down, have started to circulate to the pit lane. So we'll see if this means others have to come down here. I believe Moyer just told race control he's parking it.
Yeah, he did. Just disconnected from the session. David Moyer was actually, he was only 1 lap down, but you saw him. He was having trouble earlier, was getting into the wall, went that lap down very early in this race. So Moyer just wasn't going to have any more of it as we see the battle continue up front and really continue here for this second position. But Janik has kind of stalled out.
Yeah, has not been able to fully get any close up here. He is quicker than Barnes the past couple laps or so, but only marginally quicker. Past 5 laps, 7/1000 of a second quicker on the average, but he's going to be very quicker now. Barnes nearly knocked the wall down. Here comes the 71.
Janik makes the look and makes the move. Christian Barnes tries to go up high as Janik will slide off the bottom, off the white line. That's going to allow Barnes to have a momentous run. He continues to slam into the wall and yet somehow was able to carry enough speed to take back second position. But now they draw wheel to wheel out of 4. How will this continue to look? Janik had to lift.
Yeah, Barnes slammed the door on the apron here too to be able to block. It's what Wingfield wants to see to try and secure stage win 4 of 2025. 5 to go, next time by the stripe. Barnes in the wall again. Now they sway. Hinson is gaining on both of them.
You got to think, Christian Barnes absolutely needs the points, and he continues to get into the wall. He's riding the wall right now. Not actually, but he's scraped that right rear bumper on it, that whole corner just about, trying to stay off it, but to continue to carry speed. Janik will move on through officially this time, but it opens the gate for Gavin Hinson as well.
Can Hinson take away some extra points from the playoff drivers?
He's looking for two.
Yeah, he's able to get one. Barnes, no response on the 39. Hinson backing up his corners for launch. Trying to go fast off. Hinson, better roll, side by side.
Look at the rotation through the center here for the 39 of Hinson. Watch it in comparison to this 71. Watch it in the comparison to Christian Barnes. I have not seen a car all evening long that can roll the center as well as the 39. Christian Barnes, he rolled it pretty darn good there as well. He moves back into third in front of the 71.
Gavin Hinson able to retake most of his spots after losing track position in the pit stop window. Barnes has shredded the right front tire, it seems. He's pushing up the track. Now Jackson Ottawa trying to pass by with Janik. 3-1 as Janik went on the apron. Janik really slowed up and led by the 09.
You saw, really had to lift out of that to make sure he did not get loose, getting those left sides down on the apron, and that allowed the 09 to move right through. And with the problems for Christian Barnes, this could allow Haltala to possibly get into a third spot here, right towards the rear of the 27. Gained ground a little bit there, but you can see Christian Barnes putting on the defense. He's trying to make that bumper at least 3 lanes wide.
Pit road is closed. Pit road is closed. Coming up to the green, white checkered. Not this time, but next time by. Towards the back of the group outside stage point, Joshua Gillen trying to maintain some track position. Andrew Allen slides his way on through. 1 to go in the stage.
Rayshon Winkfield, you mentioned it, Justin. Only 3 stage wins all season long in this long season, and this is where he has to come out and he has to play ball. Has a fast car tonight and is getting it done. Gavin Hinson gonna try to make a move for it though. I don't think it's gonna be enough.
He tried it from the moon. Had an opportunity to try and bump him. He doesn't do it. Winkfield does do it. He gets the green, white checkered. Hinson, Ottawa. Believe Janik over Hunt might have been it. Yes, it was. Christian Barnes, I think, may have had issues with fuel for a second as Winkfield gets to celebrate stage number 2's victory.
Christian Barnes fell out of the top 5 in those points-paying positions, allowed Caleb Hunt to slide up there in the number 78. But Rayshon Winkfield gets the stage win, and what looked like it was going to be a fairly dominant stage win. Gavin Hinson almost rivaled him for some of his money right there. We asked earlier where Hinson was and how he would work through traffic, and I would say he was one of the most patient all stage long.
Can't confirm Barnes' fuel issue, just went in a closed pit. Has immediately been given an ELL penalty because he just pit with pit road closed. So that is going to scramble the strategy for Barnes the rest of the night. Some of these drivers just trying to clutch and coast.
Yeah, it's really going to change the game for the 27. I don't know. I want to see how that car works in traffic because obviously he's had some others around there, around the top 5, but it's going to be very different when you're at the back of the pack.
So we'll keep an eye on the pit stops coming up here in the corner screen. Let's take it to a juicy spider side by side. You're watching the Mystic Racing League from Kansas.
Champion Bryce Shoemaker is going to take the victory 120 to Josh Adams.
Welcome back. We step away for a moment and chaos strikes. Keith Twinell, we mentioned, making a debut tonight. Started in the Truck Series this week, now in the Cup Series. It starts pretty rough for your Black Diamond Designs replay because he just turns a hard left, missing his pit stall. But it gets worse. Floors into the wall and then backs up into an active pit road, no ghosting. Slams into the 82 and 77 and gives them both damage. By the way, Twinell is now stuck in his pit stall and just now got into service. He just stayed there for several minutes without actually taking a pit stop. We've also had several people come down before the choose to top off. Rayshawn Winkfield, Christian Barnes amongst them. Barnes does have an EL penalty because he pit with pit road closed. So your contenders to the back to try to extend their fuel windows. 83 laps to go, Scott. For these drivers, it is going to be so marginal on the fuel windows the rest of the way here.
I couldn't have said it better. I mean, this is going drivers that just pitted again to top off on that fuel, trying to make this a one-stop. They are going to have to save fuel. This is going to be over 80 laps, and obviously we struggled to get to 40 on fuel. You saw Christian Barnes have to pit early in the closed pit, so he didn't fall off before the pit stops actually began. And so I think it's going to be really difficult for drivers to try to make this a one-stop. Imagine these drivers up front to be going for a two-stop.
By the way, John Ullman also picked the Mio penalty, this caution flag. But we're backing away for tonight's coverage of the Tier 1 Setup Shop 250. Hinton leads the bottom. Hatawa, we know, has the ability to make passes early in the run. Look at Andrew Allen now having his first taste of track position tonight.
Andrew Allen just been sitting silently right around the top 10, right in that 10th position for most of the evening. But his best track position all night long, how will he handle it against the 09 here of Hautala and their teammates? So they're going to play pretty clean, as well as Andrew Allen being one of those possible contenders. But Allen going to move in a second.
Yeah, able to slip on through. And now looks to try and set his sights on the race lead for the first time tonight in the 96 machine. And Allen, he hasn't been the flashiest of drivers. Just one win coming on a road course this season. But he has been good in stage points. He's been good when it comes to running up towards the front in races. He has been one of the drivers where if it wasn't for Janik, he might have had a couple more victories. As you see, Isaac Wilson try and go for 7th as well.
Wilson, a reminder again that he was caught up in that first caution, our only caution for, well, our only one of 2 cautions for incident, and he went 2 laps down fixing that damage. He's battling with Isaac Brock at the moment for 7th place, but Wilson has done a fantastic job of getting this car back into possible winning contention.
Just doing his job, that's all you can really ask for. See Hinton, though, on the short run, is just flying away. He just set his fastest lap of the race, 29.630. That is the best out of anybody so far tonight. Hinton trying to yard his way away and try and build some distance so it's a little bit easier long run. All while Janik has a lot of giddy up and go in the heart of the field right behind him out of Holston.
You can see a lot of drivers jockeying for position. Rayshawn Winkfield trying to get back up towards the front here as we look along with Janik as well. But we just saw a little bit of a bobble for the 93 of Wilson, and he fell back 2 spots. Winkfield was able to capitalize on that. He gained 2.
You can see some of those drivers just dealing with the traffic. Bit of a scrape for Hatawa this time. Open up door for Hunt. Caleb Hunt gains a spot. Rayshawn Winkenfield ready to do the same in the order.
A little bit reverse for your stage 2 winner here. Earlier it was him leading and Gavin Henson being buried deep in the field, having to work forward, but this time it's going to be Winkfield buried deep in the field and Henson out front. But again, we got about double the length now of race left rather than we had in those couple of stages. So we might see our first green flag pit stops of the day. It's really going to change the game of this third and final stage.
It will indeed, and it's going to be making things extremely difficult the rest of the way I'm planning. Winkfield's going for a spot on Hunt, takes it away, all well. Also have some shuffling with Christian Barnes trying to make up some ground. And this is the thing, this is the first time Barnes really has been in traffic all night. Rayshawn Winkfield's come through the pack now. This is going to be his second time trying to go from back to front here tonight, Scott, as Hunt goes up in the wall.
Winkfield doing an excellent job. Going to have a run here on the 71 of Janik into turn number 1. Looking for 4th spot. He's going to clear into turn 1. Rayshawn Winkfield might be one of the only drivers that could challenge Henson on raw speed tonight.
Now, this has been impressive from Winkfield. And he's been a bit of boom or bust when it comes to some of the speed. When it comes to his runs, he's had multiple times where he's been able to win more, have a chance for more than the 5 victories. He's been able to stay out of trouble tonight. That's been the critical thing, keeping the car clean to make sure it's there to contend.
Well, and remember, he was towards the rear at the start of this race after that incident. He was almost in the middle of it. He was almost a part of it, and he was able to squeeze on through, all the while the 93 did pick up that damage. You've seen the difference in their nights. Winkfield, even though he's been to the back before, he has really been able to work back forward on that speed he's got. As Christian Barnes, you mentioned him working forward as well. He just got past Hautala and is holding off the 93 of Wilson. He's going to send Hautala back there to deal with him.
See right now, those moves coming into play. Wilson clears on through. Barnes now trying to catch up to the others in front of him. Isaac Brock's been almost kind of running in place here tonight. He's not been able to really gain too much ground. He's not been losing too much ground. It's been difficult for the 21 to get into a rhythm, it seems, tonight.
Yeah, Brock having a decent evening, but not the most amazing evening. He's been running right around the 10th spot all evening long, so a decent running for number 21. I'm listening to the engine right now of the 09 of Hautala to see if he's trying to save fuel. I'm not sure if he is yet, but he is really falling through this field. He's been a top 6 contender all evening long, but has plummeted down to 10th spot and rather quickly.
Yeah, right now, just thinking to the field. It's not been looking good on the long run. 4/10 off the pace. Right now, not sure if it's just a stroke with the car right now or if he's trying to save a little bit of fuel. He is letting it roll a lot more than some of the others in the corner here. Watch the speed difference in the RPM. Yeah, just carrying a little bit more speed hints as compared to what we're seeing with Hautala for comparison.
Henson almost having the biggest margin of lead today. He's just about to cross the 1 second mark over the 96 of Andrew Allen. I did not think, I knew Henson was going to be fast, but I thought Christian Barnes was absolutely going to be the man. But Henson has truly been the man this evening, and the other driver that possibly could rival that, like we've mentioned, the 23 of Winkfield, who, by the way, is in third and 0.2 of a second back from the 96 of Andrew Allen.
See right now how that close-up's going. Last time through, Allen was actually quicker. But Winkfield on average has been able to knock down about 61 thousandths of a second a lap. Ready to set things up on Allen from the high side. Crossover attempt. The nose being shown and the pass being made. Allen lets him have it.
Wakefield, fastest car on track. A 10.5 faster than Gavin Henson that last time by. Let's see at the stripe if that changes. Oh, and he's even faster that time. 0.2 of a second faster than Henson.
Yeah, it's going to be only a few laps likely to close up if it keeps up like that. That's the major thing. Just going to make sure the tires survive. Adam Holston's having a really good stage here, Scott. Maintaining top 5. This is the type of run Holston's needed for a long while.
Yes, he really does, and he's going to have to continue to keep it up through this round of 8. It's not going to be easy with drivers in front of you like Evan Janik and a driver behind like Caleb Hunt. But Holston needs these points. They are absolutely precious to him. Again, his championship situation, he is 9 points out of those top 4. Again, there's 2 more races after this, but needs to capitalize on these points, and I would say he's put himself in a pretty decent position with just over 100 laps complete and almost 50 to go.
Yeah, right now, seeing some moves. Janik losing ground. The 8 of Holston able to make a pass that is a teammate. So Holston continues what's been a very strong stage for him as Janik has not been able to get fully into grip in the pack on the long run. That lead is down to about half a second, by the way, on the margin. You can tell the difference in the lines here. Wakefield just feels that much more comfortable with the night continuing from that high groove again, where you can just get so much of a run in 1 and 2.
When Wakefield, looking at lap times that last time, just a couple hundredths faster than Henson rather than the tenths that we saw earlier. But again, with so much race left to go, I've got to imagine he's backing it down a little bit. The minute I say that, he's a tenth quicker that time. So I think Wakefield has just got some great speed, but it's going to be a different game once Wakefield catches up to the 39 of Henson, because I know that Henson is not going to just give up that lead willingly.
We've seen Henson fight for it already here tonight. We are about near halfway to the fuel run, already past halfway, in fact, on that. Have to start thinking about the fuel soon for these drivers. Things starting to get towards the bottom for most of the field. Outside of Wakefield, off and on the high side to gain ground, though. At this point, those tires have to be screaming. The fall off already 0.8 for much of the field.
We got a good while left in this run. Went green about lap 84. And so we've got about 20 laps, at least at the most, left in this run. I mean, Justin, I want to know what you think. Do you think they can make it on a one-stop? I just don't think it's possible.
I don't see it with the math. The math doesn't math up, so to speak. Because it would be within 10 laps. It would be 10 laps short in theory. If it's going to be interesting how people split the second stop. If it comes down to it here, though, that's my big thing, Scott.
Well, and I think that's all going to be determined when they stop this first time. You know, if you want to cut it into thirds, you know, I would say that's going to be in the next couple laps that you're going to see drivers possibly start to pit. Because, again, while we've talked about fuel all evening long, tires do play a factor. Justin, you just mentioned it, 0.8 of a second of fall off since the beginning of this run. So slapping on 4 fresh Goodyears is going to help you in the overall run.
We're seeing that really solidified here. By the way, Josh Gillen has already left the race track, so the 10 is out of the race. See the race sponsor on Caleb Hunt's car. Right now.
Joshua Gillen
Go ahead.
You mentioned him leaving this race. He is last of the top 8 in this round of 8. So that, I mean, with him going out, he's going to at least, at most, fall to 16th spot. And with his other championship contenders all in the top 10, that might put Joshua Gillen in a must-win.
I think Dega is going to be extremely important as a result, absolutely, for him. So now, so much pressure is on if he wants any shot to win this championship. Right now, Andrew Allen, 2 seconds back of the leaders now. Holston is matching the lead group's times. Allen has burned up his good years.
Well, and he's done a decent job so far. I think it was important for him to jump up and hold this track position. And he's done a decent job so far. Only driver he's let by has been the 23 of Winkfield, but I think Winkfield was going through no matter what, if Allen was going to give it to him or not. Now Allen has got the number 8 of Holston right on his rear bumper, and I imagine he'll defend this one with a little bit more ferocity rather than he did with the 23 of Winkfield. But in terms of managing position and managing at least where you are on track, I think Allen has done a pretty decent job throughout the beginning of this third stage.
Yeah, they're looking like they're going to be having an interesting battle coming up here, absolutely. Here's that battle right now. Winkfield trying to set something up on Hinson. Hinson maintains high line. Down the back straightaway. Winkfield chooses to charge the top of the racetrack. Looks to try and build something up here. Nothing doing quite yet as Hinson's been really rolling at the bottom of the racetrack along the white line.
Hinson's preferred line is that bottom. It's where he's been all night. We talked about the rotation towards the end of stage number 2, and now he's trying to move up. He's trying to defend from Rayshawn Winkfield, but it's going to take him out of his high line. Can we see the run from Winkfield? Where will the 39 go? He tries to block the top. The 23 goes to the bottom.
To the inside, Winkfield takes it away. Rayshawn Winkfield, taking the race lead, was one of the drivers who topped off the stretch's fuel runs here tonight. And now looks to try and control things up front. Hinson trying an air poke inside. No. 23 better up top. And now we see how long they can truly fly here.
Well, in Winkfield, I mean, we mentioned Hinson was going to try to block it, and he did. He made the decision. And it just wasn't going to work out for him, and that just goes to show the pure speed and talent of this 23 of Winkfield and why this 23 is fighting for a championship this season. Evan Janik into the pit lane, the first driver of these lead lap cars to make it into the pits. Will we see this pull others in? By the way, this battle for the lead still not over.
Yeah, still not done. Air poke inside. Yes, another good corner from Hinson from the bottom. Hinson actually got the edge for the lead lap. Right now, Winkfield going for a squeeze play this time.
He's going to try to keep Hinson down low. Hinson stays down low. Not as good of a run down the back straightaway. Winkfield has it, but it is really, really close between these top two. I mean, I got to keep saying it because look at how that 39 rolls through the center. That's where he gains most of his speed, and now it's wheel to wheel once again. He's going to lead this lap once more, but what a battle between these two.
Andrew Allen's on pit road. He was only able to make it 35 even. These drivers right at the cusp of the window. Hinson again with the edge. Can Winkfield set it up? He just lifted hard. Winkfield, I think, is coming down. Yes, he is. Rayshawn Winkfield is coming to pit road.
I was wondering who was going to make the call, and he caught the 39 off guard. And could he use this out lap, this next lap with fresh tires to gain enough ground to jump the 39 of Hinson when he has to come into pits? And will the 39 come in this next lap? He's over the radio right now. Here he comes.
Pit stop coming up for the 39. He's going to do it from just about the second groove for a moment. Now he comes on down a little bit harder charge. Oh, it's too hard. He spins it. Hinson spins it out on the apron. The 39 has to get going. It does get fired up, and Gavin Hinson has thrown it away.
He's going to have to go all the way back around. That is absolutely detrimental to his day. A possible fight for the win is going to maybe push him even outside. It's almost guaranteed to push him outside of the top 10.
Disastrous from the 39, who was at speed all night. Adam Holston is stretching his run along with Caleb Hunt, Isaac Wilson, Jared Knopfsnyder, Jackson Hatawa. There are amongst the drivers still continuing on with Christian Barnes, still yet to pit also. By the way, Evan Janik is the one who cycled to the net race lead. So the 71's in front of the 23. Barnes is also clutching, coasting, trying to stretch this run as far as possible. Here's the look for the net lead.
Not a bad call for Barnes. Try something different after he got put to the rear of the field for the EOL for coming down into the closed pits, as Caleb Hunt will come down. Rashawn Winkfield will get around the 71 of Janik with a fair amount of ease. Again, this is the battle for the net lead, not the actual lead. Adam Holston in the 8 is the driver truly up front, with Isaac Wilson and Jared Knopfsnyder right behind.
Andrew Allen's also in this battle. You can see him right there, to correct myself there. So Allen, he's running slower by a few tenths already to the leaders. Adam Holston is only able to go 40. Dwino is spinning up pit road entry. We still stay green as the 97's able to straighten it out. Could have been disastrous if he swung back up across the racetrack. Atawa has already completed service. Isaac Wilson's indicating a pit stop coming up. Barnes hoping to see if he can stretch this fuel mileage more than anybody else.
Well, and if there's anyone, he's going to have the chance to do it. Again, he also came down into the closed pits after to try to get some fuel, the most fuel packed into that race car. And so he might be one of the only that could maybe have a possible chance at making the one stop, but I don't like the odds.
My major thing is look at the intervals right now. He's only up 23 seconds compared to those who have already pit here. If you do the math, and he's going to have to stretch it, there is a strong chance that the field still catches up to him the whole way around. By the time they get sorted here, he's almost in range to split this run evenly in half. We'll have to see if this is going to work out. By the way, net lead is still on. You can see the clutcher coasting hard. 27 in this time by. He can only make it 42, Scott.
47, not going to be able to make it. So Christian Barnes going to come in. Decides that the strategy wasn't going to work. I think he tried it there for a second, but I think eventually had to give up on that.
There is 42 laps to go. It is going to be very, very tight for Barnes to steal this one on strategy. Winkfield's kind of equalized out with Andrew Allen all of a sudden, by the way, but we know that the faster car long run's been the 23 tonight. Winkfield's got a good amount of draft helping him pull as he's using the high side of his advantage here, Scott.
Winkfield, again, been probably the fastest car through the back half of this race. Andrew Allen, we talked about earlier, moved up in the track position with the staying out earlier rather than coming into the pits with everyone else who topped off for that fuel. He did come into pit road earlier on, but Andrew Allen has done a good job of managing that position. He's going to have to give this one up to Winkfield, as I think everyone would.
Does indeed give up the spot. So Rashawn Winkfield in the lead. They also have lap traffic mixed into this in Dwino, who is the last car running 7 laps down. They built up 2 seconds, by the way, on Janik. Holston, where did he cycle? Well, he's battling for 6th the moment and has a chance to top 5 because John Ullman went for an undercut strategy to try and gain some track position on the racetrack.
Ullman been out there for a couple laps longer than Holston. Let's take a look back and update you on Gavin Henson with that pit stop mistake, sliding it into the pit road entry and having to go around once again. He is 18 seconds back from the leader of Rayshon Wingfield. That shows you the largeness of that mistake.
Yeah, absolute disaster for Henson. Looked to have a winning car tonight and then chucked it in the bin. And now he'll need a caution flag just to be able to try and hope for some spots back on the racetrack in a race that's trended to go green, at a track that trends to go green in general. Take a look at some of the errors around the racetrack here, by the way. You can see how much the margin's already built up. Holston has built nearly a second already. He's now got a chance to take away the top 5 again from Ullman.
This is one of those runs that we were talking about Holston needed. Definitely needs a top 5 on the night. The only other playoff drivers that would finish in front of him, if that were to be to where he would finish, would be Janik, Allen, and Wakefield. And that's a little less than half of that playoff field. So it'd be a good run for Holston.
This would be very ideal, absolutely, here. We know how good he is at super speedways like Talladega. He might be an upset watch, or at least a big-time threat with what he did early on in the season at tracks like Echo Park. Just trying to set things up calmly and efficiently here. No moves quite yet. They stay single file as they get equalized out once again on the tire wear. 36 to go, coming up.
Another playoff driver to check in on, the 93 of Isaac Wilson just got passed by the 39 of Gavin Henson. And Wilson, we talked about it many times, got it caught up in that early incident on lap number 1. And since then, really has not been able to make it past the top 8 or so, and he is buried in 11th.
Yeah, not been the greatest of runs. Right now, Wilson is clutch and coasting here. It is very worth noting. He is amongst the drivers that are trying to stretch it at the end of this race here as long as possible. Watch right here, just cuts it off completely. Oh, a little boot to the wall this time. Got to be careful of those.
Be careful, but Wilson, one of those drivers trying to stretch the fuel mileage. Jared Knopfsnyder comes very close into view here off of turn 4. Gonna try to pull a little bit of a draft down the front straightaway at Kansas. You're not gonna get much of it, but some is better than none. And this would be the change in position for the last spot in the top 10.
Just taking the time to do something here as there's a look at the battle. Ullman hitting the wall, sets up Holston for 5th. See it coming with the 4-lap difference on tires. And now that Black Diamond Designs design paint scheme looks to see if he can get to Caleb Hunt. Hunt, by the way, 2/10 off the pace of the 8 last time by. Just running on his lonesome. Caleb Hunt Racing Machine. Working tonight with John Ullman and Zach White in the race channels. According to the speed detector, they say pit road was only 2 seconds. I don't think that's the case, but he is amongst those who is on the same cycle as Hatawa, for reference.
Well, his time in the box was 2 seconds. His time in the lane, 41.
Which indicates a pit stop.
Yes, but no tires.
I think he would have taken tires. I think it's just the matter of now how would you play this here, Scott? Let's point to that direction.
Well,
would you split this run up the equal middle? What would you do?
Well, if I know I can't make it, I'm definitely splitting it in the middle because, again, we've seen that tires are definitely a factor. With the fall-off that we've seen throughout the stages, it's not purely about fuel. If it was purely about fuel, I would pit a couple laps after the window opens because, again, that's less time on pit road the earlier you pit within the window being open. But again, with tires being important here tonight and making a marginal difference at speed on the racetrack, I would cut that in half and use the most of those tires as evenly as I could.
And how likely do you see a splash and dash working for some of these drivers with how this could go? Do you see anyone rolling the dice like that?
Actually, of someone trying to save time, I like that the best. I really don't know how it's going to work out for guys like Wilson and the 27 of Christian Barnes, purely just trying to save fuel on track. I think you said it earlier, the math might not work out the field, even with them coming into pit an extra time with all those tires and everything else. I think they might just go back and take the lead away from them being able to run hard on the full fuel and fresh tires. But I actually like the call possibly from Caleb Hunt to actually come in, try to top off on fuel, but not take tires because, again, tires are important, but again, he can run as hard as he wants knowing that he's safe on fuel because he might take tires at this next stop.
A lot of questions with 27 laps to go, absolutely here. Yeah, there's so many ways you can go about it.
Yes.
There's only one right answer, and it really depends on how the field behaves is the true way to say it. You can't decide now.
Well, and we saw those cautions for cause in stage number 1, but ever since then we've had only cautions for the direct stage ends. It's been clean and green all throughout the evening, which I think is what you and I imagined this night how it would be.
Yeah, just a calm nighttime race in the middle of Kansas City with stadiums nearby. It's become a fan favorite racetrack, to say the very least. Some of the product it's produced and some of the close finishes. Take a look at Allen, by the way. Right now, Evan Janik is just a bit within range of him. Try and take away second. Thing is, even times. Allen, though, is having to deal with lap traffic, and the lap traffic is not going away here, Scott. As a matter of fact, it's having a hard time passing him.
Yeah, there we go. Finally gets it done. Brushes the wall because of it, though. But the 77 of Zach White giving the 96 of Andrew Allen just a little bit of a hard time. But, you know, I'm really impressed. Well, I can't say I'm truly impressed by this run from Andrew Allen. I think he's been one of the most consistent drivers all season long, even since Daytona, where we started out the early portion of the season in March. But Allen has been one of those staples of consistency, and it's the reason he's second in overall points right now with the playoffs. And another great run here this evening. If it were to finish like it was, he would remain in second.
Adam Holston elected to come down now. It's about halfway through the fuel run in comparison to the race end. Just a little bit more than halfway total in the tank. So the window is open. Remember, these drivers, per the fuel estimates for some of the drivers here, are short by 6 laps to the very end.
Holston, you're not going to be able to save that.
Yeah, Holston went with 14 with a full 4-tire pit stop.
Yeah, Justin, not going to be able to save that on track. Just not going to be enough time. Holston was one that knew that from the minute that we entered the beginning of stage 3. Other drivers like Barnes and Wilson a little bit more optimistic, but Holston having a good run because I think he's a driver, you know, just being out by 4 points below the cut line, he could point his way in. You know, where obviously we could see right now if Winkfield was to win, that's a win from those of the 8, but there's no guarantee that in the next 2 races a playoff driver will win, and no matter what, someone will make their way in on points.
This is going to be for Holston. Need to make up 54 seconds total. We'll see How the tire fall cycles, the fall off has already gone up to 9/10, upwards of 1.1 seconds for a majority of the field. End of their tire lives here.
Here comes the leader.
Wingfield's coming down now, giving himself some time to work with here. 19 to go. It's when he elects to go.
Gets in the lane fairly easy with good speed, but not too much. We saw that mistake from Henson earlier, and you know that Wingfield was already thinking about it earlier, even before Henson made the mistake. Stops a little deep in the box, but doesn't have to reverse, and that's a clean stop that you need. Now all he has to do is just get back out on the racetrack as clean as possible and retain this overall lead.
John Ullman joining him in pit road this time through, by the way, as Wingfield with a two-tire call. 77 coming in this time as well, so pit road is becoming very busy. Andrew Allen has to think about this, and a lot of these drivers are trying to minimize time. Allen just said on the radio, I'm pitting. He's going to charge the corner.
Whoa!
He's going very hard, and not sure if he got clipped for speeding or not.
That's going to be close.
It's legal.
It is legal. Wow. I cannot believe he got that 96 stopped in time. What a great, great entry to the pit lane for Allen. I was almost sure it was going to be fairly close to speeding.
Allen, by the way, had a mistake in his pit box, had to reverse an inch just to be able to get service. Evan Janik right at the very edge of his estimated window here. Caleb Hunt, 2 seconds back of him. Isaac Brock, 9 seconds back. And drivers like Hinson, Knopfsnyder. Then Barnes is the one to watch. Right now, the thing is, though, he's only got 11 seconds up. Caleb Hunt just said he's pitting this time by. So more drivers coming on time. You see the pit stop timer in the lower corner of your screen going to become active even more.
More drivers from the front keep pitting, and Barnes is the one to watch, as well as Wilson. They're both on the same strategy, and here's the thing. They're running right next to each other. Is Wilson maybe trying to push Barnes into running a little bit harder and maybe burn a little bit more fuel? When you're on a fuel strategy like this, you want to be the leader of that strategy, but it's really difficult when the only other one running it is 2/10 back from you.
We have an air spinner, 77, Zach White on the apron. We stay green for now. He's off and away. So it
That
could have been
thrown a wrench in everybody's plans.
I think we had the same thought there. Chaos strikes again. And now, let's see, Wilson. It's going to be the difficult part of this strategy. He is not as comfortable for the fuel, by the way. Janik went with a two-tire pit stop just now. So people are cycling through. 15, 14-ish laps to go here from Kansas.
The night, wow. It seems like this night has just flown by, and what a great night it has been for you and I. I have been thoroughly entertained. I love all of this strategy, as well as great battles all throughout the racetrack. It has been excellent, and it is not yet over. It'll be 13 remaining, and the strategy is yet to play out. Can Christian Barnes or maybe Isaac Wilson steal one here from drivers like Wingfield and Henson?
Yeah, we know Henson is not within the window to make it here. Knopfsnyder's the same case. They're just banking on a caution flag.
You got to feel for the 39 of Henson with that mistake. It is the most difficult when it is an error of your own making, and you can see they are on this entry not going to make the same one twice.
Not as aggressive on the entry. Able to roll on in, no issue. Jared Knopfsnyder up front for essentially the first time tonight. He's just logging laps at this point, but he's hoping that a caution falls his way. And then After that, it gets to the chess pieces behind him, like Barnes and Wilson, who are trying to save as they might here. Coming around to what will be 10 to go next time by. See, right now Wilson is really backing it down. Barnes is not really backing off as hard.
Wilson knows that this is his only shot, and that's the thing. He's lost his shot now with Wingfield getting around him, and I think that is him waving the white flag of surrender.
Going to drop him farther down the order. His bed is made. Wingfield only 2 seconds back of passing the 27. 10 to go. Here he knows
The difference in lap time, Wingfield 2/10 faster.
About to say Jose Medina was about to indicate he was pitting here too. Right now, Barnes, he's no longer clutching coasting. This is going to be iffy here for that 27. Here's the battle box. See that margin going down to 1.7.
Well, and even at this point now for Barnes, if you can't snag the win away from Wingfield, save enough fuel to at least get a second or a third, because you're in great position to make up for this strategy. And I think this was eventually the plan. You know, earlier he was running within the top 5, decided to pit early, take the EOL at the end of the stage, take another look at the pits as Wingfield scrapes the wall. But even if you can't snag this win, make sure you save enough that you don't run out.
By the way, Barnes specs clutching coasting at the bottom of the racetrack. I have Jose Medina come out right in front of him. Driver 14th on track. Knob Snyder is in. Only the 27 is left standing, as well as the 93. Janik is already making the pass on Wilson for good measure.
Wingfield within 7/10 now of Barnes. They run 1 and 2.
This will be about the time where DJ Lyon goes, duh, duh. or should I say, ding, ding, for the reference for the past few weeks. But looks like Barnes way slow all of a sudden. Wingfield takes the lead with 6 laps to go.
Can't say we're too surprised that it didn't work out for Barnes to stay in the lead. Now it's important for him to stay within the top 5 and make this at least net out even with if he would have run with everybody else. He was kind of forcing the decision after getting the EOL as he ran out of fuel at the near end of stage 2 and had to pit immediately. But Wingfield, one of the fastest drivers here this evening, and trying to cap it off with a win and lock himself into the championship 4, 5 remaining.
Time ticking down as Wingfield looks to celebrate what would be his 6th win of the season. Down matchup with Evan Janik. Terms of how things are going, Wilson has not been able to make it. He only made it 39. The 93 is in. Meatball flag for Wilson. He had a wreck. Can't confirm. Zach White actually hit him, but did not bring out a caution.
And that is a tough way to end the day for the 93 after getting involved in a wreck early, working back, trying to overcome those issues all race long, and had worked himself after he would have pitted in a natural condition, would have netted out about 7th or 8th, which would have been a good recovery after being down on the inside of the top 20 after the opening portion of this evening.
Barnes really coasting the entire corner right now. Might not be able to get even a podium at this point. Coming to 2 laps to go. And here comes the 77 of Zach White in full charge mode. So I hit one of the 2 in the save. And for some reason, Zach White backed off the throttle hard. Here comes Andrew Allen with 2 laps to go, looking for third.
Andrew Allen going to fairly easily get it here over the 27 of Christian Barnes. Barnes again just trying to hold out till the end of this race. He's got a 4-second lead over the 5th place car, 78 of Caleb Hunt. And I think there might be enough time, but I say that he has been dropping like a rock.
White flag is out, 1 lap to go. Rayshawn Winkfield. He's had the speed tonight. Started off the night on an off foot. Missed the driver's meeting. Had to start with an EOL penalty. Charged to the field once. Then had to do it again. Tonight, Rayshawn Winkfield's had the speed to show why he is going to be a part of your Championship 4. Rayshawn Winkfield wins it at Kansas. He ties a season high 6 victories in 2025 with Evan Janik, and now is the first to officially punch their ticket to Homestead.
What a season it has been for the driver of the 23, and Christian Barnes, we're getting word, did not make it, and he's fallen back to 10th place. Last car on the lead lap.
Celebration is on for Rayshawn Winkfield. He'll go to Sofa News Victory Lane here tonight. Sofa News, the official news provider of this series. Evan Janik and Andrew Allen also on the podium tonight. Celebrations are on as we continue on with tonight's coverage. Mystic Racing League here on V-Speed. More right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage of the Mystic Racing League and its Octane Outlaws Cup Series. Let's take a look at your unofficial race results tonight, where Rayshawn Winkfield takes the victory. Evan Janik and Andrew Allen get on the podium. We'll speak with those drivers in a moment. Caleb Hunt gets 4th. Adam Holston gets the points tonight he needed. A 5th place run over John Ullman in 6th. Atawa, Brock Henson, and Christian Barnes, as mentioned, ran out of gas at the end. Falls down to 10th spot.
Knopp Snyder, the first car, 1 lap down in 11th. Then it's Isaac Wilson, Zach White, Jose Medina, as well as Kenneth Dwinnell in 15th. Then back behind them, 16th on back, Joshua Gillen, David Moyer, Justin Miller, as well as Michael Cole and Joey Beam, all leaving the race early. And last two drivers, Stephen Gill and Casey Bristow, not making the start this evening. So those drivers having some issues towards the beginning of this race.
Precautions, 22 lead changes actually tonight, so a fair bit of lead changes to party race recap. We'll say the person going to Sofa News victory lane ready to celebrate. Rayshawn Wingfield now joining us in the broadcast booth. Rayshawn, how's it feel to be a part of the championship four for Homestead?
Man, I honestly do not know how to feel. I mean, it feels great.
Talk to us about the speed tonight. You had to come from the back twice tonight.
I mean, Kansas has usually always been one of my better tracks. I missed the drivers meeting because I was in the bathroom and forgot about it, and that kind of put me in a bad spot to start the race, and I had to avoid that wreck there at the beginning. But I mean, it was you just had to keep the tires on it and just stay out of the dirty air the whole race.
So now what's your preparation going to be like for Homestead, especially with two more races to try and at least try and get more wins on the board?
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna all I can really do is practice. I mean, just what I did for Kansas. Um, because Homestead really is a tricky track, especially when you're racing with the three other best drivers in this league. But I mean, I have 2 more weeks just get my mind right and get a feel for the track and the car because I haven't really ran Homestead at all in this new next gen update.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Good shout out to you guys for putting on this broadcast, Brandon for the putting on the the races, and shout out to my boy D, boy Colin, and that's about it.
Congratulations on the run here tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Rayshawn Wingfield comes away with the victory here in this one. Evan Janik comes away second. He's with Scott.
Well, Evan Janik, you come away with second, but you lead all drivers here on points of the round of 8. But obviously, Rayshawn Wingfield going to be locked in. What more did you feel you needed to possibly go up and battle with Wingfield and his speed this evening?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really know that he had that much speed because we were pretty much just um trying to save and figure out where we were and then the dirty air. But once he got to clean air, he was lights out. He was no doubt the fastest car tonight. So I would have liked to felt what my car would have felt like in clean air. I was in dirty air all day, which was from a mistake kind of qualifying for me. My fast lap, I hit the wall. But either way, I still think the 23 was lights out and by far the fastest car here. So um, I don't know what he found, but he definitely found something that no one else was able to find.
Well, Evan, you've been one of the most dominant cars all season long. You've been one of the best cars all season long, and it's showing why you came into this round with the biggest points lead. What do you need to do to perform? How do you need to perform in these next two races in the round of 8 to solidify your championship bid and run for a championship in a couple races' time?
Pretty much just need to start. I think I'm pretty well set. As long as I finish the races, I think I'm pretty good. But really for myself, I just need to win. I haven't won at all yet in the playoffs, so um, even though I'm still finishing good and good on points, in this kind of playoffs, you need to win. So, win would be great.
Anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
I thank you to Precision for helping me or letting me come aboard for their setup team. Five Star Racing, Black Diamond Designs for designing this paint, and everybody watching at home.
Well, congratulations, Evan. I know you wanted to win, but I know you're happy with a second place run, especially with your situation in the playoff standings. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Evan Janik, second place tonight, and it was Andrew Allen rounding out the top 3 after a run that looked like it might have just put him in the top 5, but he ends up third, and he's with Justin.
Yes, indeed, Andrew. How would you describe your night here tonight, as it seemed quiet for the first 2 stages?
Yeah, it was pretty uneventful, I'd say. Tried to just keep it clean early on in the race and use my pit stops to gain some track position, get up towards the front, towards the end of the race. And yeah, just a bad call there at the end. I should have taken 2. I took 4, thinking I'd do the opposite of what they did, and it just never worked out for me. I'm glad those guys ran out of fuel up in front there, get me back up into the podium. But yeah, it wasn't much else I could do tonight except for have a quiet night and get to the finish. And hopefully next week when we go to Dega, got all the we're gonna have a full Fast 11 Motorsports show out, and hopefully those guys will get me to the front so we can get locked in for the championship.
So I will ask this about the racetrack here tonight. How was it trying to manage the tires, but also try and play things right with the lane choices here?
Yeah, I mean, tire wear was definitely a big thing, especially early on. If you pushed it too hard, you could really kill that right front. I was able to figure out a good way to save some tire there, and my tires were definitely better at the end of the second stage there. And then when I pitted for 4 at the end there, they were a lot better. So at the end of the race, tire wear wasn't as bad. But I think I was just still trying to save too much towards the end. And I probably should have pushed a little bit harder.
So with that being said, what's the approach now going to be for Talladega next week?
Survive until the last, I don't know, quarter of the race, get to the front, and pray we can cross the line in first. Can't get it done there. We got Martinsville coming up. We got a good short track program back at the shop. So I think next 2 races, they're good tracks for us. And with the amount of guys that we have on the team now, I think we can make something happen and get locked in.
Any show you'd like to give here tonight?
Yeah, Precision Speed Solutions. Guys put out some great setups every week. Head to precisionsetups.gg. You can get some good setups there each week. Hautala Designs for great paint schemes every week. If you guys need a paint scheme, get in contact with Jackson Hautala. And everyone back at Fast 11 Motorsports. I'm always saying we're recruiting for our endurance series, our endurance team. So if anyone's interested in running some sports cars, let me know and we'll get you into the program.
Congratulations on the top 3 here tonight, Andrew.
Appreciate it.
Andrew Allen rounds our top 3 discussions. Like thanks top 3 for speaking with us during post-race coverage here on V-Speed. Your final thoughts tonight, Scott, as tonight it ends up coming down a bit to some strategy, but in the end, Rayshawn Wingfield puts on some dominating pace to join the championship 4.
I feel like we got the best of both worlds. I feel like we got to see a lot of those on-track battles early on. Obviously, when we got the green flag action, everyone spread out for a while. But those first, 10 laps at the beginning of the stages and the beginning of the race, we really got to see all these drivers going at it and going at it respectively, as we've seen all season long. And then, of course, through the strategy, some trying to save on fuel, some trying to, play some tire strategy and everything. We truly saw what worked out at the end of the day, and it all worked out for that 23 of Wingfield, which I think no matter what Wingfield would have done, he'd have found a way to victory lane because that car was on the rails.
We'll see what happens next time out. Again, next race is going to take the series to Talladega, Alabama. 94 laps on the docket. Again, green flag set for 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch that once again on the Precision Production Network. But it's time to say goodbye for my co-announcer tonight. It's Scott Scheib from Morgan Cook. For everyone at V-Speed, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching the Mystic Racing League and its Octane Outlaws Cup Series from Kansas, the Tier 1 Setup Shop 250. Congratulations once again to Rayshawn Wingfield for the victory. And once more, thank you to Dougie Beard for all the cameras with the angles provided tonight. We'll see you next time out at Talladega.